I'm on the right track, I'm finally found. You need some soul searching, the time is now. All I need is one mind.
Last video, we left off, I read you guys the emails from my brother, not from my brother, from Satan. And my brother was refusing to talk to me. He pretty much flat out told me he's going to be unavailable to talk to me indefinitely. And he only has to talk to me for the bank and to close the house. I just couldn't believe this shit. I was like, is this real life right now? Like, you're in a fucked up situation. You're in a really abusive, controlling relationship. If your wife won't even allow you to talk to your sister to settle your mom's estate, there's a problem there. There's a huge problem. I don't want to sit there and shoot the shit. I don't want to know about your life. I don't want to ask you how your job is or anything like that. I just wanted to get my mom's estate settled so we could both move on with our lives. So the next step now was we had a problem that my name was spelled wrong on the paperwork that we got, the letters, okay? My attorney's like, you can't use those, they're no good. And so I take a trip with my son down to the surrogate court, okay, to get the letters fixed. I tell my brother that the letters are no good, that we can't use them, my name is spelled wrong, and he's completely refusing to like turn his paperwork in because he had already given them out to people. Guys, how frustrating this was to me because I knew I wasn't talking to my brother, okay? This person that I'm talking to is getting demanding. They're being disrespectful. You're not going to tell me how I'm going to settle my mom's estate. Like, you're not going to sit here and tell me how I'm going to settle my mother's estate. I know I'm not talking to my brother because he just doesn't conduct himself like that. He's not bossy and pushy and completely denying, like, completely just ignoring everything that I said about our communication. And I know that that's my brother's wife and she's being an asshole. Okay, so now it's August 18th. I write back to my brother and I tell him that I had to go down to the courthouse and get new copies of the letters since we never got ours. My brother said that they sent the copies that he ordered, but I don't think that's the case since my attorney was the one who my attorney was the one who was kind of handling all the paperwork and everything. And I know he ordered the letters if he said he did. And they're trying to tell me now, oh, I got the copies that I ordered. No, they sent them to you by accident. I don't know why. They sent them to his attorney's office by accident somehow. I'm not even sure how that happened, okay? So I wrote back to him on August 18th, okay? I totally did what he did to me. I just completely ignored everything that he said. So I write back, I said, I just went to the surrogate's court today to get copies of the letters. The letters you have are no good because my name is spelled incorrectly, which obviously they must have saw. I mean, my brother knows how to spell my name. So I said, the letters are no good because my name is spelled incorrectly. Whatever official copies you have must be turned into the court before they issue new copies. They voided those letters, so they are no good. This is how messed up this bitch is, okay? I went down to the surrogate's court, which is a good 20-minute drive because I wasn't waiting for my attorney. It takes forever to do everything. And I think he might have been away at this point. I don't even know because it's coming up and it's almost Labor Day now. And I still didn't get my letters. I go down to the court. I bring my son with me. I had to drag my son along with all this shit. I felt so bad for this kid, okay? Here it is summer and our whole summer was wasted on this bullshit. I had to go down there twice. I went down there the first time. I brought my son to the aquarium. They call me up, they tell me to come back, and then they were like, oh, we can't do the letters, you're gonna have to come back another day. Clerk wasn't in, that's what it was. So she tells me, you're gonna have to turn in any copies that are out there before we could issue new letters to you with the correct spelling. So I'm like, great. I have to get my brother's letters and turn them in. That's why I wrote to him and told him that, okay? So he writes back to me, I will speak with my attorney regarding this matter. This really pissed me off because it's like, what do you think? I'm lying about it? I mean, why would I make this up and like lie about it? And here's another thing I just want to like point out. Why are you talking like all like professional business to me? Like, just talk to me like a normal person. Nobody's like grading us on this, executorship. You don't have to use all these fancy words and like, ooh, my attorney advised me. Just say that your attorney said to you. Like, oh my God, it's just so irritating. Okay, so I write back to him the next day in the morning. I say, That is fine. The court said they will call me back on Monday because the clerk was not in by the time I got back to the courthouse today. They made me hand over the 6 copies they had given me earlier in the day and said that they'd need any other official copies before they can issue new ones. You could call the court yourself on Monday and ask. If you cannot make it to the courthouse, you can drop them off at my house and I can bring them to the court for you on Monday, since I am home all day. You should have all the copies since we haven't discussed anything yet, so I don't see why that should be a problem. They were voided. The sooner we turn them in, the sooner we could get new ones. And I put a little winky face. Okay, I said you could call me to discuss setting up an appointment for the bank. Because, they're just like, oh, we're making the bank appointment and I'm going on my lunch break and it's going to be this day. Don't even ask me what day is good for me. So I said you could call me to discuss setting up an appointment for the bank and see what day and time would be good for both of us. A Saturday morning would be better for me so my husband could watch Jesse. I prefer not to bring him along. It's probably going to take more than the time you have for a lunch break anyway. A few months ago, I opened a savings account for myself and it took over an hour and a half. That will leave us no time to discuss other matters. Obviously, we have to wait until the corrected papers are issued before we can do that. If you want to be co-executor, you're going to have to put time aside for it. I am submitting my list of whatever bills I have paid out to my attorneys, since he will be handling that for me. As you said, your attorney is handling most of your stuff as well. Thank you for sending me yours, but you didn't have to. You could call him or have your attorney contact him for it if you really need it. As far as the other bills go and the mail, as per the investigation I opened... Now, okay, I was being an asshole here. I really did have to call the U.S. Postal Service at some point in time to figure out what was going on with my mom's mail. I ended up finding out, all of a sudden, he reports my mom's death in August to the post office. I wrote, as far as the other bills go and the mail, as per the investigation, I opened up with the U.S. Postal Inspector for missing mail because I thought someone was stealing it out of the mailbox. I was told that the mail was being put on monthly holds and then forwarded to your address and or picked up by you at the post office since December until about 3 weeks ago when you finally reported our mother's death. So you should have all of the most up-to-date billing statements for all of her bills. Once letters are issued, collectors have up to 6 months to make claims. So whatever comes in the mail that you have been getting, those are the most up-to-date amounts that are owed. With that said, I don't have anything that you don't. Once we go down to the post office, we could retrieve whatever mail was on hold at the post office for the last few weeks. By the way, P.O. boxes can be accessed at any time of day, so I suggest all the mail goes there to be fair to both parties. I don't have any online account access to any accounts. I lied. Whatever bills I paid is because I called up the companies, asked what was owed, paid it, and asked them to email me receipts. I told you what I paid in the first email I wrote you. You should have all the account numbers since you have been getting the mail. As per my attorney's advice, I have been waiting for letters before I do anything else, since there's not much I can legally do without them. Everything will be a waste of time and or have to be done again, like getting a new EIN number. While this needs to be done in a timely manner, there is no rush to start doing things before discussions are had and letters are issued, aside from what the surrogate court suggests in the letter that they sent out. We need to sit down and discuss who is going to do what before you just start delegating tasks or doing whatever you want. This is a 50-50 co-executorship, and everything that is done requires the approval of the other, as per paragraph 2 in the agreement you signed. I want to do things the right and legal way. Thank you for the offer. I appreciate it. But I can write out my own envelopes when the time comes. LOL. Since it's impossible to have detailed discussions over email, I think it's best you call me from here on out. Give him my phone number, okay? Writing emails back and forth and waiting for responses is way too time consuming. Enjoy your weekend. Leanna. I just wanted him to know, listen, chill the out. You're not pushing me around. You don't need to start hounding me for lists and all this bullshit yet. We don't even have the correct letters yet. My attorney told me that there was no rush. We did not have to be doing all this shit. So I get an email back from my brother. Okay, every time I opened my email, my heart would be like, it would just start pounding because I know I'm going to get pissed off. It's going to be some bullshit where you're just going to evade anything that I say or any of my suggestions, and you're just going to go and do whatever the you want. Again, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but it's like you just told me Oh, I'm making the bank appointment to open up the bank account during my lunch break. Too bad for you, Leanna. Don't ask me what time is good for me. This is a co-executorship. You're not just the boss. You're not delegating tasks and I'm just going to do whatever the you say. It doesn't work like that. So he writes back to me, right? And now it's bullet points to be an asshole. Let me address your issues. Like I said, I'll consult with my attorney as I haven't been officially notified by my attorney or the court that my papers are invalid. I will follow his instructions. It's like, dude, you can clearly see that my name is spelled wrong on there. Why wouldn't you call your attorney up and ask him? Like, they just did not want to give up these papers for some reason. As for opening the estate account, I can extend my lunch break as needed during the work week. I've already spoken with a few banks, and the actual opening of the account shouldn't take longer than an hour. I was, however, informed the banks are not willing to open an estate account if we don't have the authority to act independently of each other. Chase has a form that we would need to sign to allow each other to act independently. I have no objections to this, as we would both have full access to the account and be able to see any transactions made by the other. You are welcome to contact other banks to find one that would allow us to act in tandem if you object to this. As for the bank appointment itself, I'm available any day, Monday through Friday, 5 days for you to choose from. Okay, now first of all, my attorney strongly suggested that as co-executors, we need to get a bank, and again, this was due to the lack of trust that I now had in my brother and his wife. My attorney told me that we should get an account that required both signatures on all checks. It's kind of a way to protect us, that we can't be accused of taking money, because if my brother didn't have to sign, I didn't have to sign the checks, my brother could have written himself out a check whenever he wanted. So my attorney suggested that we get an account where we both have to sign the checks. This ended up being, yes, a good idea, but also a really bad idea because things didn't go good. It did not go good. So here's bullet point 3. The P.O. box is unnecessary, as I've already said that you can have the mail forwarded to your address and provide me with copies of non-junk mail. You never said that. In the last letter that you wrote, you said, oh, okay, let's get a P.O. box, and now it's not necessary. Make your mind up, bitch. Now, you guys are going to see there's a theme here that this girl will just disagree with anything that I say. This is going to be a running theme here. Everything I say, she just had to argue with, no matter what it was. I could be like, the sky's blue, and she would argue with me. The bullet point number 4. You have previously sent me screenshots of online account balances, so you obviously have access to some accounts. But that's a moot point, since after the estate account is open and the creditors are paid in full, many accounts will be closed. So if it's a moot point, why are you making the point? Also, if it's a moot point, why are you asking me for access to these accounts then? Just does not make any sense. Asshole. My communications regarding the estate will continue to be via email. It is in the best interest of the estate that we have a written record of all matters that we discuss. If you wish to be a co-executor, you'll need to check your email regularly. Oh, really? Oh, really, bitch? You see, I want to knock this bitch out. You don't know how many times I read these emails and I wanted to just get into my car, drive to their house, knock on the door, and just bow, cold cock that bitch right on the floor. You have no idea. My attorney and her attorney already said that we're going to need to meet up and talk. She's insisting that we put everything in writing. We need to keep a written record. Why? A new FEIN number does not have to be ordered. Please consult with your attorney. First of all, bitch, it's an EIN number. I don't know why you're calling it an FEIN number, but that's besides the point. Again, I'm just saying what my attorney told me. They got 2 EIN numbers, 2 tax ID numbers. One was with my aunt's name, and then they went and filed for the other one before we became executors. And so my attorney, trying to do the right thing, told me that we will need to get another EIN number. No, I'm not just saying this shit to be an asshole. This is an asshole. I'm not an asshole. I mean, I am an asshole sometimes, but not this much of an asshole. Here's this one. You guys ready for this one? I've had a bill collector come to my house as recently as Friday, so I have already provided some certificates to people that required them. If so needed, they could be provided with updated copies. This was just a blatant lie. There is absolutely no need to give the letters to any bill collectors. That's not what the letters are for. But she's going to talk to me like I'm an idiot, and I don't understand that. Bitch, what is this, like 1920s? Since when do bill collectors show up at people's houses? Seriously. Not even the person's house. Why would a bill collector go to your house? That doesn't even make any sense. You're talking to me like I'm a idiot. You're not gonna lie to me and tell me stupid shit like that and think that there's any possibility that I'm gonna believe a bill collector came to your house. Just stop. Stop. So then I get this one. I've sent you a list of bills that need to be paid on the date that the estate account is opened. It is in the best interest of the estate to have these checks signed and mailed immediately so that these outstanding balances can be paid. Please have your attorney provide my attorney with the list that you are giving him. Once again, I told her in the last email, my attorney's like, dude, you don't have to pay anything immediately, okay? There's no need to have, like, the day that you go open the account, have checks made. Like, there's no need. You're just being a pushy bitch because you want to, like, rule the world. All right, there. Nas, chill the fuck out. Ooh. So then here we go. Finally, I'm asking again as co-executors to provide me in writing what issues you'd like to discuss. Please advise what part of the estate you'd like to handle and what parts you'd like me to handle in writing. It shouldn't be overly complicated as far as I see. And now we have, like, what do they call that? When you're making those little outlines, like for high school, your book report. She has like the little indented dots. I don't know what the fuck you call them. Outstanding balances and accounts, including the mortgage, need to be paid and closed. Only utilities will have to be paid until the house is sold. No shit, Sherlock. Thank you. You're so smart. I don't know why also she kept saying mortgage because my mom's house was owned. She had no more mortgage. She had paid her mortgage off, I think, the year after my dad passed away. So I don't know why she kept referring to a home equity loan that she had, a $7,000 home equity loan, as a mortgage because it wasn't a mortgage. Investment accounts need to be transferred to an estate account. No shit. We know that. I know exactly what we have to do. You don't have to tell me. Thanks. The house needs to be emptied and sold. We could choose a realtor and attorney that is neutral to both of us to do this. Pay attention to that part, okay? I'm going to read that again. We can choose a realtor and attorney that is neutral to both of us to do this. This will change in a later email, and you will see, like many things that she said, she would just completely change it. So just pay attention. I've previously stated that you can take care of finding out the fair market value of the house by consulting with a few realtors. As of the contents of the house, I'm only interested in my personal belongings and a few items that belong to Mom. I will not remove any... All right, listen to this. Listen, open your ears, okay? I will not remove any non-personal items from the house without notifying you first and giving you the opportunity to object. After that, you could do whatever you wish with the rest of the contents of the house, including having an estate sale and splitting the proceeds up between us. All of this is more than reasonable. I forgot to read the part where it said, please consult with your attorney if you have any questions. Like, as if you have to tell me to consult with my attorney. I'll consult with my attorney whenever I want. You don't have to tell me. Girl, my blood pressure was probably off the meter during this month of August of 2017. I got so pissed off after reading that email. I was irate. She thinks she's the boss. This is not my brother. My brother doesn't talk like this. While my brother changed during the last few years being married to this psychopath, he didn't change to the point where he's just a pushy, demanding asshole. That's not him. I'm sorry. At this point now, I'm like, listen, I know that it's not my brother, so I'm going to let you know that I know that I'm not talking to my brother. This is my email back to him. Tell Steven to call me. We could discuss issues over the phone. If you want a record, you could record the phone calls to keep records for the estate and have them transcribed for your records. Go fuck yourself. I was so done with being spoken to like I was an idiot. So the next thing that happened was I called my attorney, I forwarded him the email, and I'm like, listen, my brother's refusing to talk to me. He's telling me that I have to go through email. He's telling me that he wants a written record and all this bullshit. Okay, so now my attorney's gotten pissed off, calls up my brother's attorney, and I finally get a phone call from my brother. Which, by the way, he won't call me from his cell phone. He'll only call me from his house phone. It's absolutely ridiculous. So he gives me his house number. He tries calling me. I forget, there was something going on where I couldn't answer the phone when he called. And so he then follows that up with an email and gives me his house number. I totally forgot to mention here that the only reason he called me is because I had to go to my attorney. My attorney had to call his attorney and like basically threaten them in a sense to get my brother to get on the phone with me. And he did originally call me from his cell number, but then told me to call him back on his house number. So like he unblocked me, called me from his cell phone, I guess, so I would know it was him, and then instructs me to call back on his house number. And from that point out, if I were to call him again, I could only call him on his house phone. And he had blocked me again on his cell phone. And I'm like, why do I have to call your house phone? Why can't I call your cell phone? Like, I don't understand this. It's so weird to me that I can't just talk to my brother. It just doesn't make any sense. So the next thing that happened after this now is I call my brother back. But of course, I'm no dummy. I recorded the shit. As we can see in these last few emails here, these assholes constantly change their story all the time. They're constantly making shit up and changing their story. So I have to record the phone call, which is pretty sad. I just couldn't believe that things got to this point with my brother that like I can't even just call you up and talk to you. So if I have a simple question about the estate, I have to call you and ask. I meant to actually say I have to email you and ask a question. I mean, it's ridiculous. I have to email you and then wait for a response. And it's just so ridiculous. I mean, why can't we just talk to one another or text or something? No, you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm sorry. We're going to sit down and discuss this like grown adults. Guys, I'm going to let you guys listen to this phone call and you guys are going to see how like absolutely aggravated I was getting at this point. It was really bad. And you're also going to see how much of a liar my brother became and how bad at it he is. I mean, it's going to be so obvious that he's not writing these emails. Okay, so I'm going to end this. I'm going to play you guys the phone call and then we'll come back on the next one.